Hi, my name is Jacob Simnick, and today with me I have the star of this interview, Mr. Adam Morris. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm a voice actor, stand-up comedian. I do a bunch of other stuff besides that. At this point, the list is so long, you kind of forget some things here and there, but most of the time it's voice acting.
Yeah. You also told me you're a comedian and a YouTuber?
Yes.
Oh.
After way too many years of doing YouTube, I finally quit doing that for a little bit.
Yes.
Not all the way yet. Not all the way yet, though.
And you told me that you helped other YouTube channels.
Oh, yeah.
Like, how did you go about doing that?
Well, they would really commission or hire me along as their business director, their social media director, their public relations, really anything within that category. The one that I found myself sticking to most of the time was business director, because I was the event coordinator, so I'd get them all set up with like E3 packs, any of those conventions, I'd get them set up and get them to have everything ready so they can go out. And then script writing, obviously, there's been a lot of channels that I've worked with, like the Sticky Paddle, Team 4-Star, way too many.
Yes. But obviously this YouTube thing isn't what we asked you here for.
Not correct.
Recently at the con at Brigadry Games, a lot of people in commerce finally realized who you were voice actor.
Which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
I thought that was really comedic.
Yeah. So how long have you been in voice acting?
2.5 years.
2.5 years.
Run thereabouts. Voice acting, I'll put it like this: when you first start out doing a voice actor, it's really slow.
Yes.
And when you first start out, I am still technically considered a new blood, and I've been here 2.5 years.
Yeah.
But once you get past that threshold, that's when it starts picking up and you start really gaining momentum. But I don't think I'll be considered a veteran voice actor until 5-10 years down the line, because it is such a cutthroat industry. You can have someone new today and then the next day they're gone. Yeah. So you never really know. It's extremely competitive, but a good competitive.
It's a real foot in the door kind of industry.
Well, how would I put this? There's two ways you can get into voice acting. A, you have to be phenomenally good at doing impressions. Well, not even impressions, because just because you can do impressions doesn't mean you're a voice actor. But you have to be phenomenally good at voice manipulation to be able to do improv and maintain a voice at the same time. Because that's where I tell everyone to start on improv, because once you get to improv, you can act on the spot, and then you can start putting your voices into it. Or you just got to know somebody.
Yeah.
And that sucks, but I mean, it is still an entertainment industry, so knowing someone, yeah.
So how did you start, and what inspired you?
That's actually a funny story. I never wanted to be a voice actor. In my life, never did I want to be a voice actor. I wanted to be a stand-up comedian and a YouTuber. I hit those margins fine. Like, I was already going to conventions as a YouTube guest. Like, everything was going perfect. However, at one of these conventions, it was called Yellow City Comic Con, and that was in Amarillo, Texas. I don't remember if it was 2014 or 2015. I was doing a panel on how to get into YouTube, how to do all that, and someone just happens to walk in and sit on the front row of my panel. We had a full room, and here comes Christopher Sabat, the voice of Vegeta. And I just kind of stopped for a minute, and I'm just like, oh my God. Because, I love Dragon Ball Z, so I knew exactly who he was. I mean, he voiced my childhood. So he walks in there, and he's just sitting there listening to my panel, and I started doing voices. And after that, he came up to me, and he was just like, hey, come find me at my booth. All right, sure. And I was there at the time with my best friend, Matthew Thompson. Great guy, he's in the Navy now. We walked up to his booth, and he had a line of 100+ people, and I just walked straight to the front, and I look at him, I was like, hey Chris, you wanted me to come up here? He's like, oh yeah, come with me. Gets up and walks away from those 100 people, and we walk back to the panel room, we sit down, and he's like, all right, do some voices for me. I started doing impressions, I went through Hank Hill, Stewie Griffin, Scottish accent, I went through a bunch. And then he looked at me and he says, all right, now I'm going to teach you how to voice act. This is your scene. this is your character's personality, but the basis is this is your voice. So basically, be an angry Scottish mechanic. So I was just like, okay, so I'm an angry Scottish mechanic, now what's going on in the scene? You popped an axle. You completely busted the axle of your car. Go. Alright, so first of all, we're outside of Walmart, and then out of nowhere, my entire front half of my car just decides to go the opposite way of where I was trying to steer. And then I keep going off of that. Yeah. And he's just like, yeah, call this number, and we'll get you set up. And since then, he has been the one to really push and inspire me to become a voice actor. Again, a line of work that I never in my life thought I would be doing. Never in my life did I think I would be successful at, let alone.
It was really like a chance meeting.
Yeah, it was something I could not have planned, but honestly, I loved the way it turned out because it really changed my life for the better.
So you never envisioned yourself being a voice actor before?
No, not at all. And that's the weird part, because I remember when I was like a 5-year-old kid, I would sit in front of the TV mimicking voices that I hear, and like I would do them back, like completely 100% accurate.
You were probably even listening to Chris Sabat.
Maybe, but I don't think I can get my voice that deep.
Yeah.
But I remember I would sit there and I would just copy the voices, and my parents thought I was crazy. Because name another 5-year-old kid who's just sitting there copying burly voiced men and Stewie Griffin and all these different people. It's crazy.
It's actually funny that Chris Sabat, the voice of Vegeta and Piccolo, brought you in because at the con you told me a funny story about your role in the Broly movie.
Yeah, which I think it was. I think that's really how do I put it? I think that's not. It's not irony. I think it came full circle.
Yeah.
Because it started out by meeting them, or meeting him, and then obviously that movie comes along, and I supplied background voices, so it wasn't anything huge. I don't even think my name's in the credits on the movie. I just remember, recording certain aspects of it. I think it came full circle. I'm still waiting on my big break, because obviously I've been in some pretty nice shows, but even then it's been background or secondary characters, and I'm really waiting to push myself, as he would say, even further beyond, or to go plus ultra than that. And what's even funnier is I have a picture I got to show you after this. I was at Funimation the other day, and there was a sign by the urinal in the men's bathroom that said, "Go beyond, flush ultra." So the entire time while you're using the bathroom, you just have Deku staring you down. And I was just like, oh, this is odd.
Sorry to bring this back a few paces, but for those listening, would you mind talking about your Broly movie appearance?
Oh, dude, I think it's really funny. I was a background Saiyan. That was literally it. That was like one of my first big roles, in my opinion, was I was a background Saiyan. That's it. And I mean, to this day, you would think other roles would pop up and people would be like, hey, you were this guy. But no, they comment on that one. And I think it's funny because, people are printing out t-shirts that say, do you really think Frieza's going to blow up the planet? Or, in that area. And I'm just like...
Which, by the way, was his line.
The one line. But it happened. It's funny. It is comedic. I guess because I've seen so many other YouTubers... What is it? They use that line when they're talking about that movie or in that scenario, and it's just like, how did something I say turn into a voice acting meme?
Yeah. Earlier I was actually talking to my friend about this interview, and I told him about how you made that line, and that's the only line that he remembers from that movie.
Oh, of course it is. I don't know what it was about that, because it was such a quick session. Yeah. But everyone...
It was the irony behind that question.
Well, it's just everyone asks me all the time. Not about anything else, but about that one.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, dude...
Do you think Frieza's really going to blow up the planet?
Yeah, do you really think Frieza's going to blow up the planet? It's just like, how did that one little thing just spark a fire like that?
And that really was a small role that made a big impact in your life. Like,
Well, yeah, but the comedic irony behind it is not lost.
yeah. So, would you mind going over, like, when you're doing voice acting, many people probably don't even know the process behind doing lines. And
Well, okay. This is going to be completely out of order, but I do my things. I do my warm-ups and
Yeah.
get ready like in a very methodical manner. I first, obviously we start out with vocal warm-ups. You can do your scales do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, like just get your voice warmed up, run through some impressions, run through some other voices, make sure it's you can get high, you can get low, just that you can maintain it. Don't drink a soda before you record. Don't drink a soda before you record. You may not know why, but don't do it. In actual terms, it tears up the lining of your throat.
Yeah.
That it hurts too.
for sure, every carbonated beverage is
Yeah.
feared because even burping will ruin it.
Yeah. So really, vocal warm-ups is one of the main things. Like I was saying earlier in the interview, improv is a really good way to get into it. I've done improv with a company called Take One Productions. I was never in that, but I was very good friends with them, so I performed with them at different events. And there was a place in McKinney called the Comedy Arena, where I did some of my improv classes. Improv is, like I said, it's a very good way to get into it, due to the simple fact that once you learn how to just act on the spot, you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then vocal warm-ups, obviously,
Yeah.
then you're good to go. And the way scripts work, they'll tell you as much as they can, but you go with what you got. I still think one of the funniest scripts I've ever seen was Vomit Passionately. I don't know what that means. To this day, I still don't know what vomit passionately means, but I'm able to vomit passionately now. So now I've made this headcanon for myself. Every time I get sick and throw up, I'm going to vomit passionately. I'm always going to work on that role. You never know when it pops back up.
And when it does, you're prepared.
I am ready, to the T, prepared.
And you said that a lot of your lines or background work, lines that get mixed up with other ones and doesn't
Well,
really...
I mean, when you start out as a voice actor, man, you send in so many auditions per year.
Yeah.
I send in over 1,000 auditions per year,
Yeah.
and hardly any of those come back.
Mm.
Because it is like I said, it's a very competitive industry. Once they have your demo reel, once they have you on file, they'll be able to pull it up and be like, well, he would fit for this one. But you also still got to send in auditions.
Yeah.
So really, don't be upset if your background character or secondary character, because those still add credits to your resume.
It is still something.
Because you never bring in a resume to voice acting until you're established. When you want to start as a voice actor, you will start with nothing.
Yeah.
You have to work your way up to get those credits. You got to work your way up to get to that point, and then you'll have a resume.
Yeah.
That's why my major here at the university is radio, television, broadcasting. Because when I get to a certain point, because I'll be an audio technician because of this major. Once I get credited enough and get to the point where I want to be an ADR director, which is I cast people for the show. I make sure everything runs smoothly. I'm the director of that show, and that is a goal that I have now. Looking how the industry works, I want to be a director for the shows.
Yeah. You want to be the one people audition for. It's
Yes.
not the one doing the
Yes.
audition.
And some people have this weird idea, this false idea. I'll even go as far as to say that, where they believe when they're director, they can just throw themselves in any show. That's not the case.
No.
Not at all. It's almost unfair if you were to do that, but
Yeah.
I have not met one bad director. A director that I have massive respect for in every single aspect. My buddy Kyle Phillips, he's a good guy, real phenomenal dude. Nick Harris, phenomenal dude. Brittany Laude, they're all great people.
Yeah.
And they do their job especially well. For the next few years of my career as a voice actor, I couldn't see anybody else doing it. And that's not even half of the directors. But all of the directors just do their job so immaculately, it is indisputable why they got their job.
Yeah.
So I respect them wholeheartedly for what they do, because it's not hard, or it's not easy work.
No, not to know that industry sounds like it's easy work, because you even said at the con that you have to update your demo reel every 6 months or else.
Well, you're supposed to do it more than that, but
yeah.
I do it every 6 months because
You-
my voice hasn't really changed that much since puberty. It dropped, and this is where it's staying for the rest of my life.
Yeah, a lot of people have this impression like you only need to do your demo reel every year, but you said that's you're falling behind if you do
You
that.
really are, because anime has, well, not even just anime, video games, everything.
Yeah.
It has seasons.
Mhm.
Obviously, we have winter anime, we have fall anime, summer. We have different types every time. You need to stay updated, or you could fall completely out of the loop, because it's always a changing industry. It always is. And I'm doing myself a disservice by only doing it every 6 months. But due to schedule constraints and how I've had to operate these last few years, 6 months works. Again, because my voice doesn't really change.
Yeah.
But, there's a, we won't bring that one up. I'll just say this on the topic. We get a list of auditions, and that really sets the tone of what I need to do. I'll say that much.
Yeah. So, with background work, you're typically only given like, hey, you're a citizen, something happens,
Yeah,
and stuff
basically.
like that.
You fill in a lot of background noise, a lot of white noise you fill out in.
Yeah. Have you experienced a role that was more defined and like a character in a show?
Well, you'd be surprised. Some background characters are defined.
Yeah.
Some of them, not most though.
They vomit passionately. They.
I mean, secondary characters, you can kind of see it with that, but you don't really get that definition that you're looking for until you get to secondary or primary, and even secondary, that's a give or take situation.
Yeah.
But I mean, the day I do get a really defined character, because one of my goals is to be able to just be like, look at a character pop up on Google and be like, that's me.
Yeah.
Not for fame, not for credit work, just to know that I brought that character to life.
Yeah. Like how people see Chris Sabat in Vegeta and Travis Willingham in Roy Mustang. Those
Yep.
kind of iconic voice actors. Like you don't see anyone else voicing that person.
Yeah, I agree.
So with the voice acting, you said that I forgot the exact words you said, but it's a very grueling business. It's a very you gotta do your demo reel every 6 months. Even that,
I'll put it like this: it's a very rewarding industry, but it's all, like I said, it's very cutthroat, and not in a bad way. Like I said, competitive. Competitive is a more befitting word. It's just you got to be on top of your game, because at the end of the day, it's you versus other voice actors, and it's great if you show. Excuse me, congestion's terrible. At the end of the day, it would be great to support other voice actors, because I still support a bunch of my friends, like Sebastian Todd. I support him a lot. It just comes down to the fact that it still is you fighting for that role.
Yeah.
It would be great if you supported everyone else, and that's what I end up doing. If someone else gets the role instead of me, it's not like, oh, that's terrible. It's more like, oh, dude, he worked for it. That's awesome for him. But it is still very competitive, and you need to stay on top of your stuff, or you'll fall behind, and you won't get to the point that you want. And you have to really push yourself to get. You have to really push yourself to get past a certain threshold. Because the only one that's stopping you in voice acting, or really in any industry, is yourself.
Yes. That leads into my next question. You said that you were very supportive about Sebastian Todd, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, that's just one example.
Yeah. Have you made any friends in the voice acting business that that really also helped you step
Yeah,
further?
quite a lot, actually. One of the most notable, who's a good friend of mine, and he's getting married soon, so congratulations to him. Corey J. Phillips. He's one of the guys that's in Take One Productions as well, and we met at Yellow City Comic Con and really hit it off, and we started hanging out a lot. Unfortunately, because we're both busy, we don't really get to hang out that much. But he's such a good dude. He's really passionate about what he does, and he's super supportive in every aspect. When I was battling thyroid cancer, probably 3 months ago now, he was really supportive.
Yeah.
And you know, at the end of the day, yeah, while we're competing, I get that, but this dude is a lifelong friend, and without this industry, I wouldn't have met him.
Yeah.
But he's genuinely a great person.
And obviously, you can't really say names, or the respectful way is not to say names. But have you made any quote unquote enemies?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to say roles, dude, but I'll say this. Boy, howdy, have I made some enemies.
Yeah.
And I'm not even the one that's like, oh, I hate you, get away from me. It's them.
Yeah.
And it sucks. But if they want to play these childish games, let them play these childish games.
They're the type of people that they see that they didn't get a role, and then
Toxicity.
They target the person that got it.
Yeah, don't be toxic.
Yeah. It's because you don't want the toxic person on your show.
Well, not even that. Just you don't like toxic people.
Oh yeah.
Toxicity is such a plague because people operate in a world of sensitivity and entitlement. Everyone believes that they're entitled to something. Everyone believes that they deserve something. Man, I really truly believe, and I'm going to put it very bluntly, I don't care what anyone does. You have free will. You do what you want with your free will.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, don't get mad at other people.
Yeah.
It's just flat out. People live in this realm like they deserve that. No, you work for what you want.
Yeah.
You work for what you need. And if someone else just happens to get it, don't belittle them. Don't hate them for it. Understand that they busted their butt to get there.
Yeah.
And
everyone in that industry is going for the same.
And everyone that I've met so far has this understanding of we're all just trying to make it out here.
Mm-hmm.
And we all try to help each other. And really, a lot where people get confused is how do voice actors act outside of work? Dude, we are no different than anybody.
Yeah.
Like flat out. There's no differences. We like to hang out with our friends. We like to drink. We like to go out. We like to sit at home and watch Disney Plus.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, voice actors, celebrities, video game characters, anyone, we're all just people.
Yeah.
All we're doing is we're supplying a service, and that service happens to let people know who we are. But even to that extent, I do not consider myself a celebrity, despite all the other stuff. I still don't, because I'm a 20-year-old kid from Dallas, Texas. I mean,
yeah.
I'm never going to consider it that.
Essentially, like once you're out of the recording booth, you're the same as anyone leaving the office. You are a human. You do your own things. Like,
and I think that's another thing that really distinctualizes a lot of people is know where you came from, never forget that, and stay humble.
Mm-hmm.
Because you let it get to your head, man, just stay humble and remember where you came from. Because I came from one of the most lower economic sides of the Panhandle. Oh my God, dude. It was terrible. But because of that, I know what I need to do, and I know who I am. Mm-hmm. Once you forget that, man, you lose track of everything.
Yeah.
And my main goal as a voice actor isn't, like I said, it's not for the fame, it's not for the credibility. It's knowing that my work could potentially help someone.
Yeah.
Because you never know, one character that you voice could save someone's life because they relate to them. One of my biggest joys in life is knowing that I'm able to help people. Because God put me in the position to help people. Mm-hmm. Just returning the favor.
Yeah.
However I can. And right now, this is the industry, this is the job that I am helping people in.
Yeah, there are lots of people that connect to anime, like in general, like they.
Because anime has this weird thing, and I've noticed this. Anime speaks to a variety of people. It speaks to what society, not what I would say, but what society would say is normal people, what it would say to celebrities, what it would say to the weirder kids, I guess you could say. Anime speaks to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone can relate to it to a certain degree.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people used to diss on it. I understand that.
It
But
was
the-
a weird thing.
And now it's become the West culture
Yeah.
mainstream. It's weird. But
Now you got shows like Avatar that are essentially a Western.
Avatar is
interpretation.
such a good show. Oh, that's such a good show. But society puts a lot of labels on people. I say, one, screw the labels. And two, for those who still believe in said labels, anime is there, video games are there, movies are there to break those labels and to tell you, hey, you're normal. Because weird is normal.
Yeah.
Because all of us are unique. All of us our DNA is coded differently. Our ideas, our motives, everything that we do is different from each other. If we live in a world where we try to be like one another, we lose our uniqueness.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has something to offer. Everyone is worth something. Everyone is like a different shade of flower. Everyone's unique, and I think this is really helping show people, hey, you matter.
Mm-hmm.
Just do something, you know? I think that's one thing that really, really helps people, is this, it does show that no matter who you are, where you come from, you are you, and no one else is you.
Yeah. At the con, while I was watching your panel on how to get into voice acting and so talking about pretty much what we're talking about now, I saw lots of people who were dressed up. You know, they were dressed up as a kid from Percy Jackson. There was a Attack on Titan Scout Squad, and it really like was a shock to me whenever you made this one girl squeal in excitement for something, and it was like those are those people that are relating to these shows, and here you are being like a symbol of excitement. People that made that girl's day to hear what you said.
And I don't necessarily understand that either.
Yeah.
I don't believe I'm a symbol. I don't at all. I never will. To those who think that voice actors are symbols, you know what, power to you.
Yeah.
But the reward in and of itself is knowing that I did make her day, knowing that I made everything perfect. But in no way, shape, or form do I think I'm a symbol. I think I am just conveying the message that I sought to convey.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked. So I really believe that was the payoff.
So that's a good thing to close on, but I thought that maybe we should talk about your classes at Media Tech.
Yeah. Now, obviously, none of this is confirmed as of yet. We're still scheduling back and forth. This is still extremely in the air, but as I'm working back and forth with them. Media Tech in December, Media Tech's in Dallas, I'll be teaching a voice acting seminar, I believe a week long, on how to get into voice acting 101. If you have any questions, email the East Texan and they'll get in contact with me and I can provide you with more information. But right now it is very up in the air, so I don't want to confirm or deny anything until it happens.
Yeah.
So until then, it's a possibility. So if you have any questions, email them and they'll get to me.
Yes.
But other than that, it's going to be a good class.